cartoons have had a long history of teaching lessons to children. After all, a lot of them are marketed to children, in the hopes of teaching them to share, and to buy official merchandise, which is like sharing your parents' money. But even shows that skew a bit older can be filled with a lot of life lessons. One of those shows is Adventure Time. So let's look at a few ways that watching Adventure Time might just make you a better person. Because honestly, I really hope that I can justify watching cartoons makes me a better person. My name is Tim, and today on Channel Frederator we're counting our top 13 life lessons you can learn from Adventure Time. Let's get started. Number 1. The importance of knowing how to correctly slay a monster. There's a number of safety concerns with wielding a demon blood sword, not the least of which is a demon coming to reclaim its blood. Which is exactly what happens when Keoth puts Finn and Jake in mortal danger. Joshua really didn't have any business leaving that sword to his children. Like, I get it, he's a tough guy. He's gonna leave tools of violence, but that's a really dangerous sword. Still, this brings up a good point. Heroes should always know how to beat up monsters correctly. Vampires can't beat ghosts, for example. It's a rock, paper, scissors type of thing. Also, a circle of protection can't stop a demon sucking. That's in the episode, I didn't make that up. That's an official rule in Adventure Time canon. But you can't abuse that by getting a demon to suck up grape juice that's been blessed by a priest. Also, a worm can serve as a priest. Ultimately, if you're a hero, you should know what you're up against. Do your homework. It's good advice for school, and it's good advice for beating up monsters. Number 2, homies help homies. There's lots of advice from lots of shows about helping out your friends. Heck, one of the most popular cartoons out there right now is subtitled Friendship is Magic. So no, homies help homies is not exactly a new line of thinking. But the episode where this is used presents a second part of that. It goes both ways. Finn helps Jake pretend to be a rainicorn at the risk of life and limb. And Jake lets this happen, because hey, homies help homies. But if this is the code we live by, Jake also has an obligation to Finn that he isn't fulfilling. He isn't helping his homie. Fortunately, he learns this just in time to stop his friend from being eaten alive by his future in-laws. If you invoke the homies help homies code for your benefit, you must be prepared to fulfill your obligation as well. Number 3, everything always changes and always stays the same. The Stakes mini-series is pretty cool, and you should totally watch it. In general, it's a really good set of episodes, and it has a rad opening theme. Also in this series is a song, Everything Stays, which is really flippin' good, and also has a really good lesson. Even when nothing is changing, everything is changing. Just because something looks the same as the way you left it, doesn't mean that it actually stayed that way. Like the song says, if you leave something out in the sun and come back for it later, you'll see how much it's changed by flipping it over. We always see how we change because we're always around ourselves, but we don't get that luxury in other people. For example, probably some of you are watching this in college. 1, this isn't studying and you know it. You can't fool me, I know you're putting off your paper. And 2, when you go to visit your house and you say, man, it's like everything is still the same. It's changed as much as you did. Seriously though, get on your paper. I know it feels fine to stay up till 4 a.m. right now, but oh man, you will regret it. Number 4, water park pranks are no joke. In the episode Water Park Pranks, Finn and Jake go to a water park, prank the Ice King, and then wind up in a situation even worse than Ice King's. It's a simple bit of fun in an art style not typical for the show. There's also a good life lesson in here, one I think deserves repeating in every available opportunity. Always obey the lifeguard. This is why I'm okay that things turn out so poorly for Finn in the episode. He broke pool rules. Maybe it's because I spent so many summers as a lifeguard. In fact, it's certainly that I spent so many summers as a lifeguard, but it's totally not okay to violate the rules of the water park. Finn and Jake, at minimum, risk significant injury to other patrons, even if Gunter and the Ice King are lame. And Gunter isn't lame. The Ice King is lame, but Gunter is awesome. Number 5, a ruler should fear their people. After a brush with death, Princess Bubblegum realizes that she won't live forever and needs to think about a replacement. Unfortunately, the citizens of Candy Kingdom are, without exception, idiots. Okay, maybe there's one exception. Peppermint Butler isn't an idiot, but you don't want him leading either. Enter Goliad, a candy sphinx made from Princess Bubblegum's DNA along with other standard candy ingredients. It's actually very similar to the ingredients for the Powerpuff Girls when you think about it, and now that crossover is stuck in my head. So Finn and Jake take Goliad out to teach her about leadership, and it's quickly apparent that no one, not even Bubblegum, is qualified to teach anything about leadership. There's an initial lesson there. Having power and authority doesn't mean one is qualified to wield such power and authority, but it gets worse. Goliad decides that the best way to get people to do what she wants is to control the situation with telekinetic powers, robbing everyone of free will. Princess Bubblegum tries to explain that leadership should be collaborative, which is a bit rich coming from her, but whatever. Goliad explains her own philosophy on leadership. The strong lead because they can, and she is the strongest so she can rule over everybody. We expect leaders to look at the big picture, that's kind of their responsibility, but if a leader is given too much power, the picture they're looking at might be a little too big, leading to things like subjugation via mind control. Not all the lessons are jokes and silly, that one's just kind of true. You don't want people having mind control powers. Number 6, you can't change other people. Finn's dad, if I were to use Adventure Time style language, is a butt. He was never around, and the few moments you do see him, you realize it would probably be better if he never showed up at all. He takes every available opportunity to take advantage of everyone around him, and uses Finn's trust to take from him while offering nothing in return. Finn's friends and family generally agree he should cut off the relationship, but Finn wants a chance to make his father see the light. And it never goes well. Finn's dad never does change, no matter what. In the end, he cuts and runs one final time when he's given the chance to be made incorporeal. Finn watches his dad take the deal, and we finally see him give up the notion of controlling his father. It's a rough saga to watch play out, but it also tells us that we probably aren't going to change people. Sometimes that means making peace with flaws, and sometimes that means ending a relationship. But if we put time and energy into turning people into things they're not, we're bound to have a bad time. Number 7, the importance of loving unconditionally. The Ice King, down on his luck from failure to steal a princess, decides to steal just a little bit from each princess and create his own. The results are literally mixed. I suppose there is a lesson in here about how it's wrong to play God and wrong to try and construct a person by using the physical properties of another person, but the thing I want to point out is that one of the happiest times we see the Ice King is when he's rolling with the punches with his new wife. He learns to love unconditionally despite looks or weird personality quirks. Seriously, look at him, he's so happy in these scenes. Oh, I'd also like to point out that Finn finds her so ugly that he passes out. That's our hero, ladies and gentlemen. And the moment the monster princess gives back her body parts, the Ice King looks so sad until his comedic relief moment. It almost makes you wonder if the magic of the crown once again keeps him from feeling a real cutting grief that he would otherwise feel. Number 8, you can't force a happy ending. Jake is sick and he needs a good story to make him feel better. A story with romance, action, and a happy ending. So Finn sets off to help his brother out. He'll find the perfect story, even if it means he has to engineer the scenarios himself. It doesn't go well. It turns out that life isn't something you can dictate into a neat little story. If you're into YouTube, and since you're on YouTube, I assume you are, it's like John Green says, the truth resists simplicity. The animals have complicated lives and their problems can't be solved overnight. Being a hero for Finn means leaving well enough alone. That's an important thing to keep in mind about heroism. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes people are capable of solving their problems, and if you don't understand the full scope of the situation, you might find yourself making things worse rather than better. The best heroes pick their battles. Number 9. Don't wake people up. Prismo is a strong contender for the most powerful person in the universe. He grants wishes and he's open and honest about the ironic twist aspect of it. His power saves the universe at least once. On top of that, he's a really nice guy and helps people make the most of their wishes. He doesn't let Jake be satisfied with a mere sandwich. It's always good to see a wishmaster with some guiding principles. No wonder the great Cosmic Owl likes to hang out with him so much. But Prismo isn't all-powerful. In fact, he can be killed without much effort, though doing so is a cosmic crime. Prismo is the dream of an old man. If that man ever wakes up, then Prismo will die. And the old man has trouble getting to sleep, so it's not like he would come back anytime soon. This leads to the most important life lesson ever. Don't wake people up. Just don't do it. It's basically a retelling of the classic proverb, let sleeping dogs lie. Personally, I'm pretty hard to wake up. That said, if somebody manages to wake me up, I can't be responsible for what might happen. It's a tried and true lesson, but I think it's a good one. Waking people up is a cosmic crime and should land you in the worst conceivable prison for the entirety of your meager existence. Number 10, be wary of the dangers of shipping. There was a time in my life when shipping referred to packages arriving in the mail. It was a simpler time, and while I'm not stupid enough to say I would prefer to return to the world of dial-up, that ignorance of the world was indeed blissful. Now shipping is a complicated ritual to determine the mythical OTP. or one true pairing for all cartoons. That or it's a fun activity enjoyed by people who really like certain cartoons with no motivations beyond that. It's probably the first one though. At any rate, Magic Man slips Finn a bag filled with little versions of the denizens of Ooo. As creepy and unnatural as that is, Finn takes a liking to the little people, and experimenting with putting them into various situations. It's a lot like typical shipping, but the more and more Finn makes crack pairings, the more and more their tiny world falls into misery. Shipping is dangerous. Love doesn't happen the way we want it to, no matter how much you throw two characters together. And it's important not to get too attached to your pairing, because it might not be what's right for the characters. You can't force love, it's in your heart. You gotta listen to the rhythm and feel the bumps and wumps. That's what Jake said. Bumps and wumps. Number 11, things aren't always what they appear to be. Finn agrees to be the loyal henchman of Marceline, the vampire queen. It's hard for a hero to agree to do the bidding of an evil vampire queen, but he also can't violate his hero code of honor. He's stuck doing what she says, even if it's sacking the Nut Castle. That's a sentence I said in real life. It turns out though that Marcy is actually good. Good, but she enjoys messing with people. So the things she's getting Finn to do are, in reality, important tasks for the forces of good. Things Finn would surely do if he knew what was going on. Not everything is always as it seems. You have to think critically about the situation. Things that might seem good might be evil from a different perspective, or vice versa. Also, as a side lesson, you should really be careful about what oaths you swear if you have a strict hero code. Marceline might be a good person, but not everyone is. I suppose you could also just decide to have flexible morals, but that doesn't seem like a good lesson for a show to teach. Number 12, history is written by the victors. Finn and Jake lose their treehouse when the deed is bought out from under their nose. Finn can't understand it. After all, the land of Ooo has a pretty lax legal code, but there are laws and sometimes they're even enforced. So while Finn tries to comprehend, Jake launches into an explanation about laws and their origins, and it's pretty scathing. In the time before civilization, when it was every man for himself, the strongest managed to secure the best resources and left everyone else to take the scraps. Once they were satisfied, that's when they gathered to create the law, so they could always be in control. As Jake says, once they were winning, they changed the rules. It's a pretty biting critique of law, and while anarchy isn't exactly a great system either, it does present an interesting fact and lesson. Victors tend to write history and law, and they're not going to write about themselves in ways that are unflattering or give somebody else an advantage. There's a lot of subjectivity in the way history is written, and even if you agree with something, it's probably important to consider the source. Remember when people said this show was just a happy-go-lucky D&D style adventure romp? Yeah, me neither. And number 13, sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. Sometimes you suck, you just do. A lot of people do. And they feel really bad about it. Maybe those people wouldn't feel so bad if they spent more time watching cartoons. Casual escapism or genuine life advice? Why can't it be both? When Finn tries to spend time being peaceful, he realizes he's wired to solve problems with violence. And he's really bad at solving problems any other way. Even when he tries to create things, he turns them into instruments of death. He gives funeral shoes a switchblade. He's down on his luck until Jake offers the phrase, sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. That's really good advice. Not just because it points out that sucking at things is an important first step, but that you're going to have to stick with it for a long time. You don't go from sucking at something to being great at something. You go from sucking to being sort of good. If you can understand that and put in the proper time and dedication, you'll go far. They're not all jokes. That's just genuinely good life advice.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Best Adventure Time lessons. If you like this, be sure to go check out our 107 facts about Adventure Time, or you can check out our Cartoon Conspiracy episode all about the show. Also, as a reminder, you can download Fly Catbug Fly for free on Android and iOS now. Thanks for watching, and remember, Federator loves you.